Hello, my little strangelings, and welcome back. It's a new year and a new set of cemetery files. This small, quiet, modern, and unassuming cemetery holds a very big name within its peaceful, almost center. In fact, it is one of the biggest names in outlaw country music history, one responsible for bringing the genre to the fore. He is known as the Man in Black, and I did something a little unusual on my visit here that I wouldn't normally do under any circumstance. When I visited the grave of John R. Cash, most commonly known by his stage name, Johnny Cash, I took a rubbing of his grave marker. This is something I wouldn't have even thought of doing were his marker made of just stone, as the act can be damaging to gravestones over time, and several older stones are far too delicate to even try. But Johnny Cash's marker is made from cast bronze and the metal raised, and so I'm going to tell you the proper etiquette and procedure for taking a rubbing yourself in this cemetery file, my little strangelings. 1. You will need a roll of paper. Thinner is better, such as tracing or rice paper. I got this roll of tracing paper from a local art supply store. Next, you'll want something to take the rubbing with. If it's a stone monument, such as a family member's grave that you have rights or permission to take a rubbing of, make sure that the stone isn't crumbling first and that it's clear of any moss or lichen to disrupt your rubbing. Use masking tape, or even better, blue painter's tape to adhere your paper, something gentle that is guaranteed not to harm the stone or leave behind any adhesive residue. Next, choose your medium carefully. If the stone is weathered and fragile looking, I would use something extremely soft, such as charcoal, graphite, or oil pastel, being very careful not to get any on the stone. Yes, these things have a habit of smudging, but maintaining the integrity of the monument is paramount. For this particular project, since the monument was made out of metal, I went sturdier and melted Crayola crayons into silicone cupcake molds in the oven to give me a wax cake with a bigger surface area. Once your paper is taped down using as little tape as possible, make gentle circular or back and forth motions over the paper to get the impression of the stone or monument onto the paper. This may be harder with raised lettering, but patience is the key. Likewise, if you are doing a rubbing of raised stone lettering, I advise you to be very careful and caution you against going too hard against it to prevent chipping or shearing. Before you take any kind of rubbing in any cemetery, most definitely contact the cemetery office to see if it is allowed. In the case of taking a rubbing of a celebrity's monument, you may encounter trinkets and mementos left by other fans. If this is the case, I recommend you carefully photograph the monument, move them aside with respect and care, take your rubbing, and using the photo as a guide, replace the mementos as you found them out of respect. I hope this guide was helpful, and I'll do a more in-depth tutorial someday and pin it to the top of this page. For now, until next time, happy hauntings.